Let's look at the importance of surface area to volume ratio in cells. So here we have our cell, and in the cell there are many chemical reactions occurring. And for these chemical reactions to occur, substances need to be taken in, and waste products from these chemical reactions need to be removed. When a cell increases in size, its chemical activity increases. This means that more substances need to be taken in to fuel these chemical reactions, and more waste products will need to be removed. However, a cell can only increase in size to a certain extent. The reason for this is because the chemical activity of the cell depends on the cell volume, and the rate at which substances are taken in and removed from the cell depends on the surface area. And when a cell increases in size, its surface area does not increase to the same extent as its volume. This means that when a cell increases in size, the surface area to volume ratio decreases. Let's look at an example. So here we have two cubes, one with 1 centimeter sides, another with 3 centimeter sides. Let's first look at cube 1. Cube 1 has a surface area of 6 times 1 squared, which is equal to 6 centimeter squared. The volume is 1 cubed, which is equal to 1 centimeter cubed. And so the ratio is 6 divided by 1, which is 6 to 1. Cube 2 has a surface area of 6 times 3 squared, which is equal to 54 centimeter squared. It has volume of 3 cubed, which is equal to 27 centimeter cubed. And so our ratio is 54 divided by 27, which is 2 to 1. And so as we can see here, as the cube increased, its surface area to volume ratio decreased. And so let's look at the consequence for cells when their surface area to volume ratio gets too small. So here we have our cell again. And this cell has increased so much that surface area to volume ratio is too small for it. And what happens is that its chemical activity has increased, but since the surface area has not increased to the same extent as the volume, it cannot take in substances fast enough to fuel these chemical reactions. This means that there will be a shortage of substances within the cell. Another problem is that the waste products won't be removed fast enough, which means that the waste products start to accumulate within the cell. And finally, because the chemical activity is increasing in the cell is producing more heat. But since the surface area hasn't increased enough, this means that it will have trouble losing this heat and it can overheat. This is why surface area to volume ratio in cells is so important. Cells can only increase in size to a certain extent.